What's up, guys and gals? Let's be real, alright? Ain't no gals, but guys. You know, I read my stats recently, and there's like 0.07 of you guys that watch me from Canada. Cool. I mean, let's get out to the Canadians. Tell you what, when I was overseas, them Canadians are the nicest people on the face of the earth. Nicest people ever. Okay, enough of that. What do we got today? We got RTU. Some of it threw me off a little bit, you know. I don't know. Some things happen. I can't explain why. I just can't. Don't have any clues. Scooby-Doo wasn't there, you know, to help me out. So we did what we did. We did what we could do. It's at the aeroport. Sorry if my squirrel brain got me a few times here staring at the aeroplanes. But enjoy, all right? This is a long-winded ladder. I had to front load my backpack because of this dead-gum cage. And my gauges keep getting stuck on the rungs. It's awesome. Almost there. That's a long ladder. It's probably 20-foot drop. Oh, hello, son. So, what we have here is an AC unit that get off. Ow. Stuck. Oh, hello. Upside down. All right. We doing the right stuff? I'm gonna have to make this a short clip and go back and delete some things. I'm in the red on my SD card. Glad I looked at that just now. So as soon as it cuts off, I'll delete a couple older videos that I know I'm never gonna use. Or I might even have some on there already uploaded. I don't know. Okay. We'll get to town. Yeah. It's hopefully labeled. These are some old units. Another company come out, look at this thing several times, and to know when, they're not winning because it keeps doing the same thing, so they're gonna give us a shot, see what we think. What I do know is that it keeps tripping the main breaker, and even though the breaker is not tripped right this second, she ain't blowing. So I need to find out which one is number 2. Of course, why would they be labeled? We can't do that. I'm gonna label our units. I know it's on a 25 amp breaker, so it's going to be one of these smaller ones. This guy, possibly, or this guy. 25 amps is a small breaker for an AC unit. That says 4 in very faint letters. There's a little one over there. What does that guy say? I know it's not one of these big ones. And if it is, we already know what the problem is. They have it on the wrong breaker. There's an aeroplane. Yay! I love watching planes land and take off. Is that weird? So cool. Anyway, we're obviously at an aeroport. That's number 1. Wow. That's number 2. That's a big unit on a small breaker. And it's doing stuff. It's sweating back on the evaporator. And that says 2 on it, number 2. I don't know I don't know. He said it's not even blowing right now. I wonder if they're getting these things mixed up, number one. Number two, let's look in here. Max fuse, 25 amps. Oh my gosh. I stand corrected. Well, glasses came off. All right. I'm gonna poke my head through the peephole here. That's not what it's for, but on these older carriers, I don't know why. Maybe y'all can give me some insight. They put a piece of metal right here that, see, breaks away. It's connected on these little prongs. They never last. So I don't know why they put them there. I got 2 suction lines sweating. Back to the evaporator. Condenser fans are blowing the right direction. I don't feel much heat coming off, but I do want to listen for a minute. Sometimes they can tell you something's happening. Because I thought I heard a compressor cycle. Well, maybe I thought wrong. Panel's going to have to come down. It won't have to come off, but it'll have to come down a little bit. We're going to run an amp draw on these compressors. We're going to run a main amp draw from the main power. We could probably even do that at the disconnect. I want to see how many amps it's pulling. Well, there's a compressor. Okay, the compressor went out. And it could have just been that it's not calling anymore. Because I don't hear it cycle back on, but I thought I heard it cycle off and on already once. He said it wasn't blowing, but I think it is blowing, because otherwise the evaporator would be a block of ice right now, and you would see ice inside the U-bends on the coil. These carriers are equipped. That thing just came back on. So we have a compressor short cycling. It's a good thing I brought the gauges up, because I thought this was going to be a power issue. I think it's, we got a compressor doing some weird stuff. Hip, chunk, shoot. Wait. There we go. We're just going to turn this on its side. And I'm going to go delete some footage real quick because I'm going to run out of space here. So give me a few and I'll be back with you. All right, we got room now. I do have one compressor that's short cycling. I'm going to put my hand on it, figure out which one it is. And then we're going to find out why it's dropping out. I can bet you, well, they're both sweating all the way back to into the compressor. That one's hot as can be. That one's not even, right now, that one's running now. It's like they're both turning on at the same time, which that kind of tells me that they are probably wired in series and not parallel to their safety switches. So in other words, when one safety switch goes out, they both go out. Maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see what happens. Careful, don't touch metal stuff. Okay. Let's see what we got here, people. Oh yeah. Ah, there. Oh, look at that. Oh, there's that thing. One compressor still going, the other one just stopped. Nope, that's the blower still going. So, I'm gonna have to trace out the low voltage wires and find out why both of them are cutting out at the same time. I'm gonna put some gauges on them. We're gonna figure some stuff out. The blower contactor is pulled in. I do want to make sure it's running. So I'm not going to take this thing all the way off. I'm just going to kind of peel it back a little bit. I just want to make sure it's running, because that would be pretty stupid if I did all this work to find out that the blower's not running. Right. Let's see what we got here. Just going to peel it back a little bit. Shit. Get off the... It's on the lip. Get off. Just... I can't tell. Well, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and take the blower panel all the way off so we can tell if it's, you know, blowering. And then we're going to go from there. That's what I said originally, okay? Yep. I don't think we got blowering going on here. Oh, look. She threw a belt. Well, that's going to cause a problem. We're going to kill this puppy. That panel's going to fall to the ground when I do. And, you know, as soon as one small gust of wind comes, it'll fall to the ground. That's why our compressors are sweating back. I'd be surprised if the evaporator's not frozen. So those low pressure switches were doing their job. That is probably not the right belt. Oh, it fits perfectly. We're gonna wait 30 years for this blower motor to stop spinning. There goes another aeroplane. It's the UPS guy. Yeah, it's still spinning. I'll show you a trick to slow it down. You just get your belt and don't put a lot of tension on it, and it stops. Okay, I'm gonna see if we can throw this belt back on and find out why it threw the belt. The belt is not that loose. I'm okay with how it is right now. There's not a lot of give in the bracket, so I don't know why it threw a belt. The belt is not... Let's see if it's aimed right. It's aimed right. It's not crooked. It's not hitting the side of the pulley. It's perfectly fine. It's not cracked. It's only very slightly worn, which is good because I don't have one. So, oh, let's turn the thing on. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. See what happens. Hey, bring the fire. Might have to wait. I don't know. I don't know what the thermostats, I don't know how they're set and what they're doing. This thing's got ice on the bottom of it. That's unlikely from flooding back because we ain't got a blower. MO99 in one of those circuits. Wonder what they did to that. Got a new dryer on her. Upsize. That bottom weld looks like a 3-year-old did it. That's all right. But is it holding? Okay then. I don't want to talk smack. It's holding. There's the old dryer. They just decided to leave it right there, you know. I'm gonna take it all the way down the ladder. We can just store it for future use. You know, while I'm up here, I'm gonna check the heat exchanger just because that's what I do. We want to make sure that whenever I leave a system, I'm going to leave it as gooder as I can. Look, there's smoke. Oh. Planes, airplane, rabbit, squirrel. Ah, there's too many things going on right now. I can't do all the things. It's a job. Yep. And they put A49, and that's not what's on there right now. When that blower comes on, it should suck that right on in there. Somebody wrote some stuff here. $252.98 for a motor, 95 something or other for the blade. That actually sounds about right, reasonable priced. I don't know why they wrote it on the panel. That's crazy. Maybe they didn't worry they were going to forget. So I tell you what, I'm going to wait until this thing kicks on and I'll come back to you. How about that? I'm going to watch the aeroplanes until it kicks on. I'll be back. All right, she just kicked on. We're moving wind. Let's do some amps. See what our A's look like. Oh, that's the wrong one. Why don't y'all let me take the wrong thing out? Not even for real. All right, I'm gonna fish it in here. See if I can do some amps without causing an overload. Leg one. Dead battery. What's going on here? Leg one. One amp. That ain't right. Is that the right wire? Probably not the right wire. Leg one, 18 amps. Leg two, 18.8 amps. Leg three, 19.9, 20 amps. That is definitely pushing that breaker. So what I'm thinking is going on, we shouldn't be running 20 amps. I can look, let me see if it gives a normal amp draw on this fella here. It does give a minimum circuit. Sometimes it'll give you your run amps. So we have run amps. Each compressor is about 8. That would bring us up to 16. Then the indoor fan is 3.4. That's 19.5. And the condenser fan motor is 0.7. We're running pretty close to right on point with our amps. So I don't have an issue there. If the only issue is that their breaker is tripping, I'm going to amp draw each compressor individually. This does say minimum circuit is 22.6, which that's cutting it pretty close, Carrier. You're cutting it pretty dang. You're only leaving yourself like an amp or two of give. That's not very fair in this environment. This environment is very hot. Now, granted, this thing is old, and I would imagine over time that breaker starts getting hot. Now, it's a nice looking breaker. It's not a cheapo. So let's run amps on each compressor. And I'm not going to put a gauge on it unless I feel like there's something going on. Or if I do, I'm just going to put it on the low side. My gauges are acting kind of funny. I think I'm going to have to send them off the field piece. The buttons are starting to stick downward, which means it's just like scrolling through all the screens. So that's a different note. I might have to use some old school gauges for a little bit. I think, I could be wrong, but I think you can send your Smons off to field piece, and I think you pay them like 50 bucks, and then they replace the seals, they fix your buttons, they clean all the things, and they upload the new software with all the new refrigerants on it, I think. If y'all know more, let me know in the comments. But I think that's how that works. Let's see here. Where can I clamp on? I can't, because you got all the wires stuck in the wrong thing. I'm going to end up blowing something up trying to get a clamp on. That one compressor's running 7.5 amps. It's in range. This compressor, which I cannot get on that one. I'm going to have to get it down low. Down low, down low, down low. Which means I'm going to increase the head pressure by pulling this panel out, which means it's going to be an inaccurate reading. So 7.4 and 8. Those are not overamping. I could check amp draw startup, but it's not having an issue with startup. Today he said his issue was the fact that it wasn't blowing. Well, it wasn't blowing because the thing wasn't doing the stuff. It's just spinning through the belt. There's nothing wrong with that belt. So the question is, why did it throw the belt? I don't know. I don't know. I would highly recommend getting a spare belt in here, and maybe the right one instead of a 4L, getting an actual A49 or even an AX49. Might have a little more grip. Only difference is one of them has teeth and the other one's smooth. They're the same size. American Airlines. Whoosh. Whoosh. They're coming in from over there. There's one. I'm sorry. I can't work around airports. I don't see anything wrong with this, people. I don't want to put my gauges on because she's running perfectly fine on both stages. I don't see anywhere that they have tied the pressure switches in series. I also don't see where they've made it call for 1 and 2 at the same time. There's no jumpers anywhere. So, as a matter of fact, on Y2 it doesn't have anything. So that's where our jump is. They moved this wire, which used to be on Y2, over to Y1. Not a problem. The only time that's going to cause an issue is whenever it starts up. The start amps are going to be high, but that's only for a split second. Any breaker should be able to handle that for a split second. One thing breakers can't handle and not supposed to handle is being grounded. So if this thing's tripping, say in the middle of the day, whenever it calls, because there's not a delay between 1 and 2, well, that's our problem. One thing that we can do is we can put a time delay on one of the circuits, say circuit 2. So when it calls for both of them, we'll have our low voltage run through the time delay. It'll take about 30 seconds, and then it'll give the low voltage over to my second contactor. That may be the thing to do. I'm not a fan of time delays. They tend to fail quite often, and when they fail open. In other words, they don't close. They don't give the power where the power is supposed to go. If y'all know of a good quality, trustworthy time delay, let me know. Otherwise, those ones you get Supply House are like $4, and they're $4 worth. I mean, every penny. Probably worth about $3.75, actually. So I'm gonna let her purr for a little bit. Let's go do this roof walk. We'll come back and make sure that that compressor's thawing out. There's no crankcase heaters on this thing. Probably old as dirt. It does use R22. We can get a date on it, maybe we can, maybe 2006. So that is 18 years old. That's old, people. That's old. Carrier. I think they like Carriers, and these are all original Carriers, by the way. There goes the Oops guy. He just pulled up. Man, there's not a lot to look at on this roof, people. You got the thing here that does the deal with the water. Okay, you got the vent stack here. You got 2, 3, 4, 3 more. Got a lot of gas lines, you know. I don't know what to tell you. Big old exhaust hoods. Probably never run. Belts are probably cracked all to pieces. I know that they have to put these on for code. I think they only come on when there's a fire or something. I don't know. Y'all tell me. They're exhaust fans, though. Every warehouse has them. We got a camera. So we're being watched. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Got the black smoke in the sky. Not a cloud to go with it. We got a big old cancer maker right over there. I should have great cell service. I mean, immaculate cell service right here. I should be able to call the moon from here. Okay. I don't know. I think that we're soon to starting replacements on these units, as seeing as how they're probably all 18 years old. I can see this building being that old. It looks nice, so they've kept up with it well. Yep, and that's an 06 as well. So this guy, man, they don't make them like this anymore. Carrier, you did a good job back in the day. Did a good job. Look at all these fans are actually turning. Rusted. They're shaking all over the place. This guy looks like it's about to take off into the atmosphere. Don't know how long that's going to last, but hey, it's running. Coils are all beat to crap. But hey, you know what? They're still moving. They're still doing stuff. They're still moving air. They're still making the cold happen. So I say leave them be until they take a crap. But with one of these takes a crap, like I have yet to check this heat exchanger, and I hesitate to do that because somebody has water sealed this thing. So the only other way to check the heat exchanger without breaking the seal, because I cannot reseal this, I don't have the stuff. The only way to do that is going to be to open up the blower compartment and take the side panel off of the heat exchanger. Maybe we'll save that for the winter time. Well, you know what? I don't have screws in that. We could actually look at that belt. The problem is when you watch a belt, you're watching it with the wrong angle of airflow. So you take the panel off and you look at the belt, it's going to be shaking and rattling and screeching and all kinds of stuff. But when you put the panel on, it quietens down. Well, that's because it's getting air from the wrong place, and it causes all the bad things to happen. So if you have X-ray vision, which I had some yesterday, but I ran out, okay? So I don't have it today. I'll get some more maybe on payday, I don't know, we'll see. But you get your X-ray vision and you can see through the panel and you can see how it's actually running. So that's why we look for signature marks of why a belt is thrown. Usually whenever I see a belt that's thrown, there's one of two things that happen. One, it's not lined up right, so eventually it's gonna fall off. Or two, it just broke. It just broke. It's shredded, broke. It's just a rubber band flopping around in there and popped. Neither of those happened in this case, so I don't know why that belt was thrown. And I don't know where else to turn on that other than put the belt back on and make sure we know the size so that next time we can bring a different belt. I got nothing for you people, other than maybe we have a breaker getting weak. The only way I can tell is you go down to the breaker panel, you put your hand on the breaker and see how hot it is. They're supposed to be hot, they just ain't supposed to be that hot. You can take a temperature gun to it. There's temperatures that it can reach that's safe, and then temperatures that's not. I gotta call a guy. I don't know those off the top of my head, but it's okay for them to get warm, but there is a limit, and when they get too warm or too hot, then you start coming into some other issues. I got nothing for you. I'm gonna watch this guy, make sure that ice thaws on the bottom of the compressor crankcase is, and make sure that we're not freezing up the coil. Otherwise, I just got a thrown belt. I don't have anywhere else to turn on this. So that's all I got for you. Until next time, people. Deuces. Go watch some airplanes. So I just thought I was done. Guess what? I got more, okay? I'm watching this thing and I'm starting to poke into the low voltage and see those two wires that were hooked onto Y1. I looked at the wiring diagram drawing thingy with all the lines and dots and whatnots, and went ahead and hooked it up the right way, and guess what? It runs right. It calls from the thermostat just like it's supposed to for stage 2. When stage 2 is supposed to come on. So I don't know why that was done like that, but we went ahead, put her back the right way. I watched it here for a little while. it's going just fine. I don't know that that's going to cause, it's going to stop the issue, but those start amps with both compressors is going to be significantly less when you just have one. Another thing dawned on me, you know, I'm talking about how old these things are, 18 years old. We're at an international airport, okay? When you replace an AC unit at an international airport, it is a process, okay? It ain't one of those things where you just go get the deal down at the supply shop, throw it on. You got to get with the FAA, you got to get with the airport, and you got to get all the things and the extra permits and whatnots and all the extra things. Why? Because you're going to have to put a crane over here and lift the thing up. So we want to make sure these things are literally, like, the wheels didn't just fall off, but the axles are falling off too, before we have to go through that kind of a mess. And whenever we do have to go through that kind of a mess, I would highly recommend replacing all of them at the same time. Let's just make a day of it. It's gonna happen sooner or later, so you might as well just go ahead and knock them all out while you got your permit pulled, while you got your air time and whatnot. And that would be my recommendation. Most companies will not do that. That's a big chunk of money all at once. But hey, if they got it, it would make sense. It would be smart. Now, for real, okay? That's all I got for you this time. Until next time. I can't see myself no more. The thing went off the screen. Am I? Oh, there I am. Yeah, for real. I'm out of here, going on to the next best thing. Catch y'all on the next one. Deuces.